Sales of new homes have tanked, and the supply of homes for sale, new homes, has hit the highest since 2008. So is this signaling a turning point for the housing market in 2022? We're going to let you know the real deal. Thanks everybody for being here. Please like and subscribe if you like our updates. It really helps the channel. It really helps the algorithm detect that people like the videos and can help the channel grow. So please do that if you like what we talk about here. So yes, JJ here. Hi there to everybody. And a big thank you to everyone that sent me mail. I checked my mail for the first time in over a month. And I actually had greetings cards and Christmas cards that I didn't know about because I hadn't checked my mail in so long. Thank you very, very much. For those that don't know, I have a P.O. box down there. If you ever need to ask me a direct question and you won't want to worry about me just not seeing it in comments, that's a good way to get a hold of me. Now, before we get into today's news, one in particular that I wanted to give a special mention to is Reggie from Covington, Kentucky. Thank you very much for the card, and I really hope that you were not affected by the tornado. I did a search, and I didn't see any damage in Covington. I didn't see any news about it anyway, so I pray that you were not affected by the tornadoes. The thought of somebody sending me a Christmas card because they like the channel, and then the thought of somebody that did that losing their home in the same month, that almost brings a tear to my eye. Thank you so much, Reggie, and thank you to everyone that just sent me these holiday cards. So I just pray that you're okay and that you're here today watching this video with us. All right, without further ado, let's get into the housing market news right now. Wolf Street reporting, amongst other news outlets, inventories of new homes, the highest since 2008, and that's amidst the worst spike in construction costs in at least 50 years. But here's the sad truth, prices still spiking. Just because inventory is rising doesn't mean that there's going to be major opportunities to buy at a cheaper price. Prices are still rising. And yes, sales are slowing down, but just as we said would happen here, prices are still rising because of the construction cost, the cost of material, the cost of transport, the cost of labor. So folks, it's very interesting times here. Normally a big spike in inventory would lead to price declines. You would think the biggest spike since 2008 in homes for sale. But we're living in a wacky world right now. Keep in mind, we've got these inventory problems, supply chain disruptions, the labor issue, the ongoing health crisis. So many people do not want to take jobs right now. And you can't blame them. There was just a truck driver jailed, and the truck driver said his brakes went out, and he ended up crashing into some cars, and fatalities came from that. And this truck driver was put in jail for a long time. And what he says was his brakes went out. So when you enter the workforce, you are opening up yourself to liability. A mistake could cost you your freedom. You could end up in jail for a mistake that you made while working. Other people out there, the prosecutors out there, were saying that it wasn't a mistake, that he wasn't paying attention, or that he was negligent. Either way, you open yourself up for risk by taking a job and by choosing to work. And you also open yourself up to a lot of other things, the ongoing health crisis, the cost to get back and forth to work, gas prices. A lot of people are factoring that into their decision to take a job or to not take a job. All right, but back into the housing market, home prices still up big time. No let up for home prices, and we do not see much of a let up. All we have to do is watch what the Fed does, not what they say. They can say they're going to taper. They can say they're going to raise interest rates. It's just talk. A lot of times they'll just put words out there to see how the market reacts. All you have to do is watch interest rates, watch mortgage rates. Even if the Fed funds rate stays near zero, still keep an eye on mortgage rates. They don't always move hand in hand. They don't always move together. Next, sales of newly built homes have crashed, tanked. Does it mean prices are going to follow? Not necessarily. Remember, we're living in very, very strange times now. Everything is twisted. A spike in inventory, falling sales doesn't necessarily mean prices are going to follow. And I wish I had better news to report. I know a lot of you tune into the channel to see when is going to be a better time to buy a home. When is the bubble going to start to deflate? From my view, we're not going to see prices let up in 2022 unless we see some sort of catastrophic event that hits the markets, the power grid, something like that, etc. Some major pulling the plug on this operation. CNBC, sales of newly built homes tank as affordability hits buyers. So yes, prices are so high, more people are being priced out of the market. From November of this year compared to November a year ago, 14% plunge in sales. However, the median price up 19% year over year. Now, Ian Shepherdson, the chief economist over at Pantheon Macroeconomics, says, quote, a hefty correction appears to be due, unquote. All right, folks, here's what's happening. Banks are still lending out money. Banks are still the least regulated that we've seen in many, many decades. Actually, this is the worst as far as regulation. This is the worst when you look at the reserve requirement and all the support operations for the banks, repo, reverse repo, etc. All of the not even slap on the wrist penalties when banks get caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So yes, too big to fail will continue into 2022. Anyone telling you otherwise, have them give you a source, have them give you a reason. Don't just say there's going to be a bubble popping when there's no evidence that supports that. I wish there was evidence to support that, but there is no evidence to support that as far as I can see. If you do have evidence, please give us the information down below. Please post a link to your source, okay? Now let's look at a chart of months of supply of homes for sale in the United States. We did see the big drop in homes for sale with the big surge in demand as the health and crisis unfolded during the year 2020. However, since then, we've seen a big spike up in homes for sale, and we're approaching about a 3.5 year high as we look back on these October, November 2018 numbers. As you can see, the last month that we have data for, which was November, it did drop down from the prior month of October, but we're still about at a 2-year high, approaching a 3.5 year high. So of course, we're going to keep an eye on this for you. If it ticks up to more than a 7.3 month supply, then we're going to be at the highest that we've been in about 10 years as far as months of supply of homes. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a price drop or price correction because of all the other factors that we just mentioned earlier in this video. The rising cost of living, the cost of constructing a home, all of the easy money financing, bank deregulation, zero reserve requirement. The wild card is the Fed. Will the Fed allow mortgage rates to rise? Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it. I don't work for the Fed. I can't tell you what they have. I can tell you what they're saying. But as most of you probably know, what they say and what they do, two different worlds right there. So keep an eye on what's happening with mortgage rates. Yes, we'll continue to watch inventory and other data that can give us hints, clues, and tips on where we are headed. But that's it for today's report. New home sales plunge, inventory rising, keeping an eye on interest rates, prices still not going down unless something big, something drastic happens. Thanks everybody for being here. Be well, stay safe. Big love. Bye for now. Peace.